I'll move on to the next panel, which is on Nigeria. So I'm calling on the virtual stage Brian, who is representing Techfugees in Nigeria and who started to work on with IDP displaced cropped women near Abuja on e-commerce, and Daryl Hatton, who is the CEO of Fundrazr, the platform that we're using for our crowdfunding campaign, to moderate this panel.
Louise, thanks so much for that. Just a very quick background. As Louise said, we are the platform that is doing the crowdfunding foundation for this, and are pretty excited to be involved in this level of project. I mean, it's very interesting to see all the work that's going on and how much thought's going into the work that needs to be done, and specifically that. So I'm particularly interested in Brian's topic because I think there's something that's really important when we're talking about some of these types of projects, is the scalability of it and the repeatability of it. How can we end up getting some of these projects to be self-sustaining even and have a community of donors? And I think Brian's project and the one he's working on is particularly qualified for that. So Brian, maybe you could tell us a little bit about it and then we can talk a little bit more about that.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, my name is Brian. I'm representing Techfugees from Nigeria. I am in Abuja. I tried to have this presentation from the hub where the women work from in one of the camps at Area 1 here in Abuja, but unfortunately the hub is closed. So I'm having to do this from my car. And I have with me one of our volunteers as well, my colleague, Pamela. She's joining from her phone. She's sitting right next to me. Yeah, basically what we are trying to do in Nigeria on setting up Techfugees in Nigeria since 2019, after visiting the camps. I mean, we visited a number of camps, then we narrowed down to 2 camps, Kuchingoro camp and this one, Area 1 camp, because they are not so far from each other. And Abuja happens to have about 40 or more of these camps scattered around or near the city. One of the first things we realized was that the level of education. Okay, first of all, how did these people get to these camps? They were displaced by terrorists from Borno State. Borno State is in northeast Nigeria. For over a decade, there's been the Boko Haram menace that has been disturbing them over there. And then these people are survivors from some of the terrorist activities from their hometowns. So education was not very popular here. You know, it was difficult even conversing if you didn't understand their local languages. But luckily for us, we found 1 or 2. Okay, given what we found on ground and the state of things in camp, you know, the very poor state of, I mean, standard of living and all of that, it was the ways that we could help them was very, very limited, you know, because I remembered I even had some of my family or relations, they would tell me then that the reason why people like Bill Gates are helping displaced people or helping us is because they've made a lot of money. When I told them kind of problems that we saw when we visited the camps. But, you know, we thought of it like we couldn't leave this, because if these people are left and nobody is helping them one way or the other, I mean, in fact, giving them money is not even the way to go, because what are they going to do with the money? They are just going to spend it, and by the time that money is done, they are going to be back to square one. So we found that they had been trained in some skills, and there were skill trainings that were ongoing. So we thought that, okay, now these things that they are making or they are learning to make, what happens? When we spoke with a couple of them, all they were talking about was how nobody comes to the camps. You know, let me see if I could. Okay, this is the camp. Like, if you can see, you can see that there's really nothing happening here. And that's the skills hub over there where I wanted to have the meeting from. So nobody comes here to patronize them. The people who are displaced with them cannot afford to buy non-essential things. You know, they would rather feed first. So we thought, okay, is there a way that we can help them find a market for their products, you know, for the things that they make? Now, we had a brainstorming session last year during the lockdown, sometime in April, and then that was where Displaced Markets was birthed. And then we have been working on it. We had Shopify support us, you know, with a store, and then by the time we were developing the store, we got to another bottleneck, which was the standard of the products. Now, if you're going to be marketing products online, marketing products to people who are not walking in to buy, you know, you don't want a situation where somebody buys or people buy and then they are not getting the utility that they wanted from such products. So we realized we had to like partner with people who were already helping them with learning these skills and sit with them to know how we can help. If it meant retrain, that's after getting the basic trainings. Now, if you're going to be producing for sale, your products need to meet some certain standard. And we have been able to partner with the Skilled Women Initiative, whose hub I wanted to have this presentation from. And it's been good so far, and the products that they've been coming up with has been, and Sweeney also shares some of our goals and vision, as they are also interested in other camps. So Nigeria as a whole, apart from Abuja, these people, when they are displaced from their communities, they go to some other states as well. But we are in Abuja, and Abuja having up to 40 camps, there's no reason not to start from here, you know. And then luckily for us, our partners, the Skilled Women Initiative, in fact, they already started developing something at another camp. We have a vision to be able to take this from camp to camp, and then they are also working in that light. So we kind of found the right or perfect partners to support our goal. So now we have displacedmarket.com. You can check it out. That's although for now, we're still working on it, you know, like basically, we have a whole range of products that are not yet up on the site, but there's products coming up, and then they are coming up in much better standard than where we started off, you know. So I don't know if I've been able to answer your question, Daryl.
Yeah, Brian, I think, you know, you said two things that are really important. One is that you can go to these other communities with the same solution. Once you've deployed it and you have the training and you have the mechanisms in place, and you start to build the buzz around the displaced market, which will attract customers to it, you can now extend this to other camps. So that's a very, very nice scalable component of what you're doing, that once it continues forward and you have revenue flowing from these projects to these women, you could potentially have this scaling on its own, self-sustaining. So both of those things are particularly exciting from what I hear in your project. You know, do you want to just maybe briefly talk about the way you're implementing it? You're going to go do it on a Shopify site, and you're working with that. That was part of the needs for your funding, was to get the materials and training for how to, helping them use the site. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. So for a lot of the women, training them on using Shopify and being able to put up their products and manage by themselves may be far-fetched, but they have children, you know, who are probably in their teens now, going on 20, who have an education or are getting an education, and then I think it is going to be, in fact, I find it exciting because by the time you train those children on those skills and they are helping their family, you know, it's a win-win, you know, and the women are going to be delighted as well. You know, although for starters, we're having to set it up, you know, to have it working, then it will be easy to train them. That's some selected. We have been able to identify a couple of them already who we can train on these skills, including even some little maybe social media marketing, you know, like with Facebook, WhatsApp, you know. I mean, Facebook and WhatsApp is the easiest for start. I mean, we might even start from that because managing Shopify might be a little more complicated than just posting your stuff on WhatsApp or Facebook, posting the link. So while they are learning, that's how we intend to move forward with this.
One of the things I would encourage you to do is to get particularly the children of the women to tell the stories for their parents, tell the story for their mother, and write up the stories, because the stories of how they got to the camps, the conditions that they're in, and now they're creating these goods, and they're, you know, this is a more of a heartfelt story than just, oh, I showed up to make some widget. I mean, this is something that's changing their lives potentially, but they've come through a very interesting path to get there. I think that will increase the value for consumers when they're buying those products, to know those stories of those women. And when we talk about all the crowdfunding projects, one of the things that's really important is this level of storytelling. The more you can tell the stories about the impact that you're generating, and that means talking about the people that you've helped. It's one thing to talk about the number of people that you've got, but even highlighting individual stories of who you're helping means that donors and other contributors are much more willing to help you. So we just encourage you to kind of have those individual stories to share, as well as the overall story.
Yes, we are also working on that. You know, we understand the importance of, in fact, the reason why we went with Shopify was because from the get-go, when this idea was formulated, we wanted a platform where they could sell their products and tell their stories. You know, and then Shopify gives us that. And as much as we are working on the products, we are also trying to have better ways of telling their stories and having more content as far as that is concerned. Coming up, we're working on it.
Excellent. You know, little thoughts like videos of them doing the work are really fascinating for people to see, because that also helps show the feature of the quality that you're putting in.
Yes.
So are there any questions? We could turn it open. Anyone wants to put some questions in chat for either Brian or for me?
We had a question from Marie, who was for all the products. So Marie, if you want to turn on your mic and ask your question, go ahead. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's thank you for everyone to share your story and your amazing project. So it's just a quick question about if you can say a little bit more about how refugees themselves or displaced people are actually involved in providing some of the services. So I heard from the beginning that they're actually involved in the designing of the different projects, but I was just wondering down the line, how much are they also involved? And that would be a question for all the projects.
Well, Brian, maybe you could answer that just from your specific project right now. How are the women or the displaced persons involved in the project, in the overall structure of it?
Yes, absolutely. From the get-go, it wasn't possible to do anything without their input, because the situation that they are in is quite it's peculiar to them, so the only way we could help them was to have them involved. We had the women and also some other guys within the camp. I mean, the first thing, anybody that could speak English had to like be our ambassador or something, because those were the people that would take us to the women to start with, And then for everything that we have done, we have carried the women along. The women leader has been a part of because there's a woman leader for all the camps in Abuja. We have worked with her all throughout this process, and we're still working with her, and we are working with some other women within the camps as well. Unfortunately, the hub was closed when I got here, and most of them do not have mobile phones, so there was no way to reach them. We would have had one or two of them on this call as well, but they have been part of the process, and they are very excited and happy because we have even been able to get, initially when we had them make some products, we had to get some of them, help some of them have bank accounts open. We brought like people from the banks. So they've been like a part of the process, and they are excited and wanting to work with us. When they haven't seen us in weeks, they call or find a way to reach out to us, maybe through our partners here, the Skilled Women Initiative, to ask about these people and the platform they are creating for us. So yeah, we have worked with them all throughout the process.
Sorry, Mary, just to provide more context, Mary. I mean, initially we went there thinking maybe we should teach them something, maybe we should give them skill sets, maybe we should give them this. But by talking to them and having conversations with them, they have been able to let us know that, I mean, they already have some of these skill sets. And I mean, trying to level up and trying to get a way out of their situation with what they already have will make more impact to them than, doing the same thing of trying to come and give them the same trainings or variant training when they already have something that they can leverage off. So it's kind of been a journey with them, and I'm carrying them along. So it's more of a learning curve for even us. We're kind of learning from them. So we're just bringing our thinking out and, okay, what is it? I mean, how do we do it? Okay, how do we then kind of scale up using what we know and what we have to help them scale up to what they can get.
That was my colleague, a member of the Techfugees Nigeria.
Brian, with you freezing now, I think we've run through our time. So thank you very much for all that information, and look forward to maybe more questions at the end.
Thank you, Daryl.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. And thank you, Brian, for attempting to reach the camp. And thank you, Daryl, for waking up early from Toronto to be part of the conference with us.